Yes, good evening once again. Today we have joined in our Dhamma reading session. Today we will be reading from the Sutta DN 30, the marks of a great man. Before starting of the session, we will recite Namo Tassa for paying a homage to Buddha. We can all recite together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Dhammam sangham namassami. Yes, I will be sharing the screen. Like we can all read together this. Last time we have read till well-built muscles. There are this sutta talks basically about the qualities of Buddha. He has uh, he has different marks, like a different qualities, which are notified as 32 qualities of Buddha. And in this sutta, basically, the qualities which he has got because of some past actions which he has done. And in this, they have mentioned what are the qualities that the Buddha has done because of which he could able to have these quality. And it is a very good sutta in the sense the what are the qualities being done in the past by Buddha has been mentioned here. I think Nanda madam, we have read till I think we need to read from this, madam. I think
Okay.
that is means. I think we have read this equally proportionate body and standing upright. I think brave chest like
Yes.
that of lion, filled in gap between shoulder blades and well-built trunk. Madam, did we read, madam? I could not able to recollect.
I think we could start from here.
Yes, yes, madam.
Brave chest like that of a lion's, filled in gap between the shoulder blades and well-built trunk. Monks, in some past lives, the Buddha was reborn as a human being. He desired the good, the welfare, the comfort and security of the people, thinking, how can I help these people to flourish in faith, virtue, Dhamma knowledge, generosity, ethics, and wisdom, in wealth and possessions, fields and lands, birds and animals, children and partners, in servants, workers, and staff, in family, friends, and king. Due to performing those deeds, he was reborn in heaven. When he passed away from there and was reborn here as a human, he obtained these 3 marks. His brave chest is like that of a lion. The gap between the shoulder blades is filled in, and his trunk is well built. Possessing these marks, if this great man continues to live in the palace, he becomes a universal king. And what does he obtain as a king? He's not liable to decline. He doesn't decline in wealth and possessions, fields and lands, birds and animals, children and partners, in servants, workers and staff, in family, friends and king. He doesn't decline in any of his accomplishments. That's what he obtains as a king. And what does he obtain as the Buddha? He's not liable to decline. He doesn't decline in faith, virtue, Dhamma knowledge, generosity, and wisdom. He doesn't decline in any of his accomplishments. That's what he obtains as the Buddha. That is what the Buddha said. On this it is said, his wish was this: how can I help others so that they will not decline in faith, virtue, Dhamma knowledge, and wisdom, in generosity, ethics, and good qualities, in wealth and possessions, fields and lands, birds and animals, children and partners, in servants, workers, and staff, in family, friends, and king, in health and both beauty and happiness, and so he ever desired their success. His brave chest was full like that of a lion, his shoulder gap filled in, and trunk well built. Due to the good karma of the past, he gained the sign representing the stability and non-decline of good qualities. Even as layman, he grows in wealth and possessions, in wives, children, and animals. But once he becomes the Buddha, who stores nothing, he attains the supreme enlightenment which will never decline.
Yes, madam. You can explain about this, madam. Yes.
So, in the past lives, our Blessed One was reborn as a human being. He always desired good, the welfare, the comfort and security for the people. So he always was thinking, how can I help the uh, human beings to flourish, to have faith and live a virtuous life and understand the Dhamma and become generous and virtuous and acquire wisdom. And he also wanted everybody to have plenty of wealth and a land and animals and children and workers and families and family friends. He was so because he performed these deeds, he was reborn in heaven. So when he passed away from the heaven and was reborn as a human, he obtained these 3 marks. His brave chest is like that of a lion, and there was no gaps between the shoulder blades, and his trunk was very well built. So anybody who possesses these marks of a great man continues to live in the palace, becoming a universal king. And he obtained as a king. So he's not liable to a decline in wealth and land and animals and children and partners and workers and family friends. So he doesn't decline in any of his accomplishments. So that's what he obtains as a king. So what does he obtain as Buddha? He's not liable to decline. Um, he's not liable to decline in faith, virtue, Dhamma knowledge, generosity, and wisdom. He doesn't decline in any of his accomplishments. He obtains as the Buddha. So this is what the Buddha said. His wish was always, how can I help others so that people will grow in faith, virtue, Dhamma knowledge, and wisdom, generosity, ethics, and good qualities, and also enjoy wealth and uh, uh, land and animals and children and partners and workers and family and friends and health and beauty and happiness. So Buddha ever desires these successes for all human beings at all times. So his brave chest was full like of a lion, his shoulder gap filled in and trunk very well built. Due to the good karma of his past, he gained the sign representing the stability and not decline of these very good, excellent qualities. Even as layman, he grows in wealth and possessions, uh, uh, partners and children and animals. But once he becomes the Buddha, uh, who has no attachment to any material things, he attains the supreme enlightenment, which will never ever decline.
Yes, thank you, Nanda madam. Ritika madam, do you want to read, madam?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. You can read from here.
Buds that enhance the taste of food. Monks in the past lives, the Buddha was reborn as a human being. He would never hurt any being with his hands, stones, sticks, or weapons. Due to performing these deeds, he was reborn in heaven. When he passed away from there and was reborn here as a human, he obtained his mark. He has taste buds that enhance the taste of food. His taste buds spread evenly from the tip of his tongue to the back of his throat. Possessing this mark, if this great man continues to live in the palace, he becomes a universal king. And what does he obtain as a king? He is rarely ill or unwell. His stomach digests well, being neither too hot or too cold. That's what he obtains as a king. And what does he obtain as the Buddha? He is rarely ill or unwell. His stomach digests well, uh, being neither too hot nor too cold, but just right and fit for meditation. That's what he obtains as the Buddha. That is what the Buddha said. On this, it said, it is said, not with hands or sticks or stone, or weapon or beating to death, or by prisoning or threats, did he ever harm anyone. As a result of that good karma, he rejoiced in heaven after passing away, finding happiness as a fruit of happy deeds. with taste buds well formed and even. On his return to the human world, he has excellent taste buds that enhance the taste of food. That's why the clever Mark reader said, this great man will have much happiness as a universal king or the Buddha. That's the meaning shown by this mark.
Yes. Thank you, Ritika madam.
Thank you.
Really, it is very good in the sense, uh, here one of the quality being the taste bud that enhances the taste of food. It's a very different quality of Buddha, where it was said that Buddha in the past he did not hurt anyone, either with hands, stones, sticks, or weapons. Due to performing in this deed, Buddha was born, like he was born in the heaven, and when he passed away from there, and he again born as a human being, he got this quality of taste buds that enhance the taste of food. And here it also explains that, let us say, if he would have been in a palace, then he becomes a king. And what does it help is he rarely becomes ill or unwell, and his stomach digests well, and being neither too hot nor too cold. And let us say, if he obtain as a Buddha, the quality because of doing that good karma, he will be experiencing very rarely ill or unwell. His stomach digests well, and it will be no not too not cold, just right for fit for meditation. Really, it is a very good quality. Paul sir, do you want to read?
No, thank you.
Yes, I will read one. Deep blue eyes and big eyes, like that of a newborn calf. Monks, in some past lives, Buddha was reborn as a human being. When looking at others, he did not glare or frown angrily. He looked at people with compassionate eyes, with honest intentions, with fully opened eyes, with kindly eyes, and with joyful eyes. Due to performing those deeds, he was reborn in heaven. When he passed away from there and was reborn here as human, he obtained these two marks. His eyes are deep blue and are as big as those of newborn calf. Possessing these marks, if this great man continues to live in the palace, he becomes a universal king. And what does he obtain as a king? The people look on him with kindly eyes. He is dear and beloved to everybody. People of town and country, treasury officials, military officers, guardsmen, ministers, counselors, tax beneficiaries, and princes. That's what he obtains as a king. And what does he obtain as a Buddha? The people look on him with kindly eyes. He is dear and beloved to the monks, nuns, laymen, gods, humans, asuras, nagas, and gandhapas. That's what he obtains as the Buddha. That is what the Buddha said. On this it is said, he looked at others without glaring or frowning angrily. He didn't look at anyone with a deceiving stare. He kindly looked at everyone with fully opened eyes and honest intentions. In good rebirths, he enjoyed the fruit and result, rejoicing there. But here he has a calf's big eyes and eyes deep blue, so pleasant to see. Many mark readers who were experts in mark reading, experts in eye marks, indicated he would be pleasing to everybody. Even as a universal king, he would be agreeable to many, beloved by all the people. But if he becomes the Buddha, as the destroyer of sorrow, he will be loved by many. Excellent. This is one of the quality of Buddha, having a deep blue eyes and big eyes like that of a newborn calf. It was said that the Buddha, when he was a reborn as a human being in past lives, he did not glare anyone angrily or look anyone angrily. Always looked with a compassionate eyes, with honest intention, with fully opened eyes, kindly eyes, and joyful eyes. Because of this performing this deed, he was reborn in a heaven. And when he passed away from that, from there, and he was reborn as a human, he obtained these two marks, which is deep blue eyes and has and or has because of those newborn calf. Possessing these marks, possessing these marks, if this great man continues to live in the palace, he becomes a universal king. And because of this quality, he is very dear to many people, like all the people, all the sectors of people, we can say. And if he becomes a Buddha, he is dear and beloved to all monks, nuns, laymen, women, even gods, humans, asuras, nagas, and gandharvas. That's what he obtains as the Buddha. Yes. Next one, Nanda madam, you can read, madam. Nanda madam, you can read, madam.
Flat, tall forehead. Monks, in some past lives, the Buddha was reborn as a human being. He was the leader and forerunner of people in wholesome behaviors such as good conduct by body, speech, giving and sharing, taking 5 precepts, observing the 8 precepts, paying respect to mother and father, virtuous people, honoring the elders in the family, and various other things connected to wholesome behaviors. Due to performing those deeds, he was reborn in heaven. When he passed away from there and was reborn here as a human, he obtained this mark. His forehead is flat and tall. Possessing his mark, if this great man continues to live in the palace, he becomes a universal king. And what does he obtain as a king? He has a large following of people, treasury officials, military officers, guardsmen, ministers, counselors, tax beneficiaries, and princesses. That's what he obtains as a king. And what does he obtain as the Buddha? He has a large following of monks, nuns, laymen, laywomen, gods, humans, asuras, nagas, and gandharvas. That's what he obtains as the Buddha. That is what the Buddha said. On this it is said, among people of good conduct, he was the leader, devoted to a life of discipline among the disciplined. The people followed him, and he experienced the result of good karma in heaven. Having experienced that result, he acquires a flat, tall forehead. The experts in mark reading predicted he will be leader of the people. Among people then, as before, they will bring presents to him. If he becomes a universal king, ruler of the earth, he'll gain the service of many people. But if that man becomes the Buddha, he'll have mastery over the Dhamma, talented in the teachings, devoted to the virtues of his instruction, many people will become his followers. So, in some past lives, the Buddha was reborn as a human being. He was the leader and forerunner of people in wholesome behaviors, such as a good conduct by a body, speech, giving, sharing, taking 5 precepts, observing the 8 precepts, paying respect to mother and father, virtuous people, honoring the elders in the family, and various other things connected to wholesome behaviors. So, because of these deeds, he was reborn in heaven. And when he passed away from there and was reborn as a human, as a result, he obtained this mark, his forehead, his flat and tall. So, because of possessing this mark, if this great man continues to live in a palace, he definitely would become a universal king. And he would obtain a large following of people, treasury officials, military officers, guardsmen, ministers, counselors, tax beneficiaries, and a princess. That's what he would obtain as a king. So a person who has these marks, if he become a Buddha, he would have a very large following of monks, nuns, laymen, laywomen, gods, humans, asuras, nagas, and gandhabas. So that's what he obtains as a Buddha. So that is what the Buddha said. Among people of good conduct, the Buddha would be the leader, devoted to a life of discipline. Among the disciplined, the people will follow him always, and he experienced the results of his own good karma in heaven. Having experienced that result, he acquires this flat, tall forehead. So people who are experts in mark reading predicted that he will be a leader of the people. Among people, people would bring presents for this great man, and he would become a universal king, ruler of the earth, and he would gain the service of many, many people. But if that a person becomes a Buddha, he'll have the mastery over the Dhamma. He will be very talented in teaching that Dhamma. He will be devoted to the virtues of his own instructions, and many, many people will become his followers.
Yes, thank you, madam. I will read this one. One body hair per pore, between eyebrows a tuft which is soft and white like a cotton wool. Monks, in some past lives, the Buddha was reborn as a human being. He refrained from lying. He spoke the truth and stuck to the truth. He was honest and trustworthy and didn't deceive the world with his words. Due to performing those deeds, he was reborn in heaven. When he passed away from there and was reborn here as a human, he obtained these two marks. His body hairs grow, one per pore, and between his eyebrows there grows a tuft, soft and white like cotton wool. Possessing these marks, this great man continues to live in the palace. He becomes a universal king. And what does he obtain as a king? He has many people who follow his instructions obediently. Many people, treasury officials, military officers, guardsmen, ministers, counselors, tax beneficiaries, and princes follow his instructions obediently. That's what he obtains as a king. And what does he obtain as a Buddha? He has many followers who follow his instructions obediently. Many monks, nuns, laymen, gods, humans, asuras, nagas, and gandharvas follow his instructions obediently. That's what he obtains as the Buddha. That is what this Buddha said. On this, it is said, in past lives, he was true to his promise. With no twisted tongue, he shunned lies. He never broke his word to anyone, but spoke what was real, true, and factual. A tough, so very light, very white like cotton, grew prettily between his eyebrows. And never two, but only one hair grew in each of his pores. Many mark readers who were experts in mark reading gathered and predicted a man like this with tuft and hair so well performed will have many as his obedient followers. Even as a universal king, many people will follow him obediently due to the power of past good karma, but once attained enlightenment, owing nothing as the Supreme Buddha, many people will follow him obediently. Excellent. In this, it was said that the quality is one body hair per pore, and between his eyebrows, a tuft, a soft, white like cotton wool is there. And it was said that in the past, Buddha spoke the truth and he stuck to the truth and he was honest and he didn't deceive the world with his words. Because of doing that, he was reborn in heaven. And when he passed away from there and he was reborn again, he was born with this quality. And it was said that if this great man continue to live, he will become a universal king. And what he obtains as a king is many people follow his instructions obediently. Like a king, he has many people in different areas. We can say different officials, tax beneficiary, princes, all will follow his instructions obediently. And let us say if he obtain as a Buddha, he will be having many followers who follow his instructions obediently. Like Buddha, like many monks, nuns, lay people, laymen, gods, humans, asuras, nagas, gandharvas follow his instructions obediently. Really very good quality. Nanda madam, can you read, madam?
Forty teeth and gapless teeth. Monks. In some past lives, the Buddha was reborn as a human being. He refrained from divisive speech. He didn't repeat what he heard in one place in another place in order to divide people against each other. Instead, he reunited those who were divided, supporting unity, delighting in harmony, loving harmony, speaking words that promote harmony. Due to performing those deeds, he was reborn in heaven. When he passed away from there and was reborn here as a human, He obtained these 2 marks. He has 40 teeth, and his teeth have no gaps. Possessing these marks, if this great man continues to live in the palace, he becomes a universal king. And what does he obtain as king? His assembly of followers cannot be divided. This includes people, treasury officials, military officers, guardsmen, ministers, counselors, tax beneficiaries, and princes. That's what he obtains as a king. And what does he obtain as Buddha? His assembly of followers cannot be divided. This includes monks, nuns, laymen, laywomen, gods, humans, asuras, nagas, and gandhabas. That's what he obtains as Buddha. That is what the Buddha said. On this it is said, he spoke no untruth, caused friends to split, creating disputes that leads to division, acting improperly by promoting quarrels, creating division among friends. He spoke kind words to promote harmony, uniting those who are divided. He eliminated quarrels among the people, rejoicing together with the united. In good rebirths, he enjoyed the fruit and result, rejoicing there. Here his 40 teeth are gapless, close together, standing upright in his mouth. If he becomes a universal king, ruler of the earth, his assembly will be indivisible. And as a Buddha, free of defilements, his assembly will follow him with unshakable faith. So, our Buddha was in a past life, was reborn as a human being. He refrained from divisive speech. He didn't gossip. He didn't repeat what he heard in one place to another. And he did not divide people against each other. Instead, what he did was he reunited all the people who were divided, and he supported unity. He enjoyed and encouraged everybody to be in harmony with each other and with a loving kindness. And he spoke words that promotes harmony. So because of this, as a result, he was reborn in heaven. And when he passed away from heaven and was reborn as a human, as a result, he obtained these 2 marks. He has 40 teeth, and his teeth have no gaps. So, possessing these marks, if a great man continues to live in a palace, he would definitely become a universal king. And therefore, he would have a large number of followers who cannot be divided. So this includes people, treasury officials, military officers, guardsmen, ministers, counselors, tax beneficiaries, and princes. So that what a person will obtain as a universal king. So as a Buddha, his assembly of followers cannot be divided. Uh, uh, His followers will include monks, nuns, laymen, laywomen, gods, humans, asuras, nagas, and gandhabas. So that what he would obtain as a Buddha. So so the Buddha said he spoke no untruth. He never split his friends. He never created disputes. Um, he never created any divisions. He never acted improperly. Um, he eliminated all the quarrels among people and helped to rejoice together and unite people. So in good rebirths, he enjoyed the fruit of these results, and he had these 40 teeth, gapless, close together, standing upright in his mouth. So if he becomes a universal king, ruler of the earth, his assembly will be undivided, and as a Buddha, free of defilements, his assembly will follow him with unshakable faith.
Yeah. Thank you, Nanda Madam, for reading. I was just want to see how many qualities are there. The qualities are there. I think we will cover this in next reading session.
Mm.
Do you want to share anything, madam?
Well, it is very interesting when we live basically a virtuous life. Our future will automatically be taken care of. So this is very good to understand karma and rebirth, and how we can take always virtuous actions, and as a result, our present life and our future life will be taken care of. So what I didn't realize was when we live a virtuous life, our body has a direct effect as well. Not only our circumstances, good health, and we will be surrounded by wholesome people as well. So it is really very, very interesting to read this. Thank you very much.
Yes, madam. It's really a good thing you have explained that because of virtuous thing, we are benefiting many like including our body's health and the circumstances. And because of following the precepts, like even Buddha was emphasizing about the precepts in detail, like not even having a one word of untruth. Such a highest quality of Buddha. And really, as you said, madam, in this sutta, it is basically the relation of how what are the qualities which made the Buddha the qualities of Buddha, how it affects the karma. And I thank you also, madam. You are reading the sessions in the sessions. Paul sir, do you want to share anything? I think we will share this sharing merit, madam. It is visible, I think. Madam, we can read sharing it all together. May suffering ones
Suffering
be
ones be
suffering
suffering
free. May the
free.
fear
May the
struck
fear struck
fearless be.
fearless be.
May
May
the
the
grieving shed
grieving shed
all
all
grief.
grief.
And may all
And may
beings
all
find
beings
relief.
find relief.
May all
May
beings
all
share
beings
this
share
merit
this merit
that we have the
as
acquired
acquired
for the
for the
acquisition
acquisition
kinds
of
of things.
all kinds of
May
happiness.
beings inhabiting space
Inhabiting space
there,
and earth,
devas and
devas
nagas,
and nagas of
mighty
mighty
power,
power,
aid this merit
share
of
this merit of ours.
they long
May
protect
they
the
long
Buddha's
protect the
dispensation.
Buddha's dispensation.
Sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu, sadhu.
sadhu.
Thanking you, madam. I wish all to be happy and peaceful. Thank you, madam. Thank you, Paul, sir. Please.